Before the world asks anything of you, remind yourself of this. Waking up is already a victory. Not everyone got that chance. Not everyone opened their eyes today. And the fact that you did, without earning it, without asking for it, means something. Stoic thinkers once wrote that each morning is a privilege, to breathe, to think, to feel, to love. That is not poetry. That is perspective. And perspective is power. Gratitude is not a poster on the wall. It's not a trend, not a quote, not a mood. Gratitude is a shield against entitlement, against anxiety, against the subtle illusion that life owes you an explanation. Gratitude pulls you out of your head and places you right here, in the now, where life is actually happening. Most people wake up and immediately slip into autopilot. Phones, alarms, notifications, mental noise. They start reacting before they've even returned to themselves. Their mind is already at work, replaying yesterday, predicting tomorrow, judging the present, all before the first breath is even noticed. And the truth is simple. If you don't chiefly direct your attention in the morning, the world will gladly do it for you. And the world has no interest in your peace. It thrives on your distraction. Carl Jung warned us of this when he said that until the unconscious becomes conscious, it will rule your life, and you'll call it fate. Think about that. How many of your days feel chosen, and how many feel automatic? If the first thoughts of your day are worry, stress, and unsolved problems, you're not living, you're enduring. Gratitude breaks that cycle. It interrupts the pattern. It anchors you before the storm arrives, before the emails, before the demands, before the world pulls you in 100 different directions. We often forget how fragile and unlikely this experience of life really is. We compare, we complain, we drift, we assume tomorrow. Until a single event, a diagnosis, an accident, a loss, shatters the illusion. In that moment, everything clarifies. What mattered didn't, and what we ignored suddenly becomes sacred. When you truly understand that nothing is promised, gratitude stops being a ritual and becomes a survival mindset. Not optimism, not naivete, awareness. When you wake up, take 3 slow breaths, not rushed, not forced, steady, intentional. Place your hand on your chest if you need to reconnect with your body. Feel the weight, the warmth, the evidence that you are here, and say it, quietly or aloud. I'm grateful to be here, not to perform, not to impress, just to exist. Socrates famously said that an unexamined life isn't worth living. But perhaps that examination isn't only about questions. Perhaps it's about presence, about noticing, about no longer sleepwalking through your own days. You don't need expensive journals. You don't need perfect meditation. You don't need silence on a mountain. You need one clear thought. This is enough. This moment is enough. Right now, as it is. From that single idea, you stop needing chaos to feel alive. You stop mistaking intensity for meaning. You enter the day with a quieter force, one rooted in stillness, not speed. There is a vast difference between starting your morning from pressure and starting it from purpose. One drones you, the other clarifies you. That shift begins with intention. When you start with gratitude, you stop hunting for peace all day because you already carry it. You don't chase calm, you operate from it. Think of it as tuning your inner frequency. When you're tuned to appreciation, irritations lose their power. Traffic becomes noise, not a trigger. Delays become pauses, not insults. You're no longer reacting from lack, you're responding from wholeness. Aristotle reminded us that well-being depends on us, not in a self-centered way, but in the choices we make about focus, And focus begins in the first moments of the day. Have you noticed how those first seconds shape everything that follows? Yet most people reach for their phones before they've even taken a breath. They outsource their awareness. They let the world decide who they are before they decide for themselves. Those quiet seconds between sleep and action are when the mind is most open and most vulnerable. What you feed it there either strengthens your foundation or lets disorder in. If you wake up stressed, scattered, or lost in noise, you're not alone. But you do have a choice. This is where Stoicism steps in, not as ancient theory, not as poetry for the elite, but as a daily tool. The Stoics believed the morning trains the soul. If you don't anchor your mind, the world will. And it has its own plans. So if you're tired of starting behind, tired of letting yesterday's problems or tomorrow's fears own today, listen closely. I have 5 short phrases, daily truths, you can say to yourself. They take less than a minute, but the shift they create is deep, intimate, and powerful. We spend our lives chasing success, love, clarity, security, yet we rarely pause to appreciate the one thing already here. This breath, this awareness, this undefined day, you didn't earn it. It wasn't guaranteed. And yet, here you are. That is grace. That is where true strength begins. Before the to-do lists, before the messages, before the narratives, say it. I am grateful to be here, not because life is perfect, but because it's present. You still have time to change, to repair, to risk, to leave honestly. Marcus Aurelius taught that fulfillment doesn't wait for ideal circumstances. It appears the moment you stop arguing with reality. Gratitude returns control to your hands. It tells your mind, I don't need all the answers to be okay. That is resilience. That is maturity. Psychology confirms this. Studies show that gratitude reshapes the brain, increasing optimism, improving sleep, strengthening even physical health. Not because life becomes easier, but because focus becomes wiser. Where others rush, they pause. Where others complain, they notice. Where others resist, they accept. And it all starts with a morning reset. Plato said a grateful mind attracts great things, not magic, but cause and effect. When you're centered, your decisions improve. When you're grounded, you're harder to shake. When you're present, you're free. So, before obligations hijack your day, claim the first seconds. Not with stress, with presence. Say it, feel it. Let it slow your breath, just enough, and widen your view. Gratitude isn't passive, it's power. It's how you choose living over existing. And the more you practice it, the more you realize this moment is the foundation of everything. Say it each morning. I'm grateful to be here. That is your reset. That is where transformation begins.